This is Dr. David Allen coming to you on the television program, People Helping People. We've been joined by Alexis and Nemore, a very charming lady who's in her last year at Florida State
Yes.
University. And every time I look at a picture in my phone, there's a horse that comes up. Alexis, what's the horse and who is the horse?
That's Astro. He's
Astro.
Yes, yes, I've had him for 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah, going
Now,
on.
how does he manage when you go away to school?
My trainer,
The
she
trainer.
takes care of him.
Does
Miss
he
Kim.
miss you?
I would like to think so, but sometimes I feel like he just knows me because I give him treats.
Yeah. What has the horse taught you? Because he must be very important to you. I see him every time I try to call you.
Yes.
Horse comes up first. And I say, okay, Astro. But what does this horse teach you?
A lot of responsibility, because owning a horse is a lot of responsibility. And I even wrote my college application essay on how that has taught me to be responsible and to manage my time.
You wrote your college application essay on how the horse taught you
Yes.
to be responsible.
Yes.
Can you ask you what he taught you?
Just how taking care of an animal like that does take a lot of time
That's
and
a big
effort.
animal too.
And I not lost, but a lot of my weekends in the past were spent at the barn, which now I'm grateful for, but sometimes at the time I was like, oh, why am I here? I should be doing something else. But being there now, looking back at that time, I'm grateful that I did that, and I got to get up early and do horseback riding shows and everything like that.
So does Astro the horse miss you when you don't come?
I would like to think so, but I'm not entirely sure. He just knows me for giving him treats, and
Good.
yes.
Do you have an animal as well?
Not right now.
Okay. Do you like what?
What?
What are you, cats, dogs, horses?
Dog all the way.
A dog all day. What kind of dog would you like?
A Rottweiler's my dream dog.
It's a big dog. It's a powerful dog, eh? Wow. Well, Alexis, we had some chance to be in the family program, and I think you had a chance to observe our adolescent court referral program.
Yes.
How did the young persons in the program affect you?
I feel like they're very hurt by the situations that they've been put in.
They're very what?
Hurt by the situations that they've been put in, because I think children and teenagers should have a good home life to start their foundation.
So Alexis, can you identify with their home life or?
Oh, not specifically, but I just know that to grow up to be a good person, you have to start in the home with your parents, or at least a guardian that can help guide you through life up until you go to university or get a job. But even after that, they can still guide you through life and just support you.
They don't have that.
No.
Some of the fathers particularly are absent. The mothers really try a lot. But our average murder rate is between 16 and 25.
Oh yeah.
So when I saw that happening years ago, I went to the courts and said, well, can you give me people involved between, say, 10 and 17, maybe gang fights, maybe fight a teacher, fight among themselves, fight in the neighborhood. So it's been going for 7 years. I've had pretty good results. They come to the program, but their parents have to come as well. And you see the parents on the Wednesday program at 4 o'clock. And it's amazing how parents would make sure the kid comes, because there's no record anymore. And so I've seen some very, very good results. And so again, I can't feel hopeless, because if we could reach out and do things, we could help people. Does it discourage you seeing them? How do you feel when you see them?
I'm not discouraged, because I know that they're there to at least try to get help and to talk about what they're going through.
You notice they hang their head down a lot?
Yeah, I feel like it's just they're a little bit apprehensive about sharing, because I know at least in a big group it's hard to express yourself fully. But at least last week I saw that they were more open about the conversation that we were having about the prodigal son, and how I think they're more animated talking about that.
You look surprised when I asked him about the prodigal son
Yeah.
and the father being kind and wanted to throw a party for him. And all of them said what at first?
that they would be upset that if they were the older brother, that their father was throwing a party for the younger brother who wasted all the money. But
It's interesting. One said, "I'll just pass by. I know he's going to go again because he's a baser."
Yeah.
But toward the end, can you give him a break? You know.
yeah, I feel like it's just a typical response from like teenagers. At least when I first heard the story, I'm like, oh, why would they give him a party? But the more you grow up, the more you realize that you should just be happy that your family is back in your life. Because for me, if that was my younger brother, I would just be happy that he came home.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Deja, you have a powerful family. I met your mother. I mean, she seems a tour de force, and you have a strong family too. So what happens if you don't have a strong family in Nassau?
It's the continuous cycle of my parents were hurt. Maybe they didn't know they were hurt as bad as they were. They just kept living. They just kept surviving and going on and doing what they thought they could. And then they had me. And then they didn't know better. And so they taught me the same cycle of hurt, the same cycle of wrong and not healing, and then it continues on for generations.
In the last segment, both Kennedy and Deja said that kids know what's going on with their parents. Alexis, would you agree with that?
I do.
Even though the parents don't say anything, kids know. How do they know if the parents don't tell them?
I think it's just like how they act. If like there's problems like between the parents, they might not be like as affectionate before, and kids will like notice that, but they won't say anything. So they don't want to upset anybody, at least.
Also, kids know a lot, but they don't say a mumbling word.
No, some kids I think they might try, but if they get an adverse reaction, they probably just leave it alone and just push it to the side.
Should kids be more verbal with their parents, you think, or not?
I think they would like to be, but a lot of parents are also, they were raised in a closed-minded culture.
Wait, what's close-minded culture?
And the stay in a child's place culture and don't talk about grown folks' business and
Be
stay
seen
out of
but not
this.
heard.
Yes. So they want to talk about it, but their parents just shut it out and say, don't talk about it. That's not for you, or that's family business, or that's so and so business. Leave that alone. And so they just live by, I saw something, but I was told not to talk about it, and so we all know it, but we all don't talk about it. And things feel easier for right now because of that.
No. You follow what she's saying?
Yeah, and I feel like kids now at least have more, or parents are more open to their kids talking about them, talking to them about their problems. So I think in the future, it could be better.
I know the session on Wednesday before last, when we had that powerful expression of people who were abused, and you saw people get into the almost trance from the emotion and what have you. Did that scare you? I watched your face, and I didn't know whether I should come and hold your hand or not, but what was happening inside you?
I was just very moved by it, because I know, well, I don't know personally, but I know that abuse is a very difficult thing to overcome.
Big.
And to at least try to like take that first step or second step to find healing is very.
There's a lady there, she was abused from 4 years old.
Yeah, and that's.
And not only that, her father was killed in front of her, and the other lady came from another country, and she was abused. And so they came together with such a powerful sense of the pathos and pain in our midst.
Mm-hmm.
She fell out, and I saw you,
Yeah.
and I didn't know. Did you feel like falling out too?
No, I was just I just didn't want her to get hurt. But I know that it's very difficult to.
You seemed very concerned. You were watching as if had you seen anything like that before?
Oh, not really. So.
No, when people are expressing in the family some of the deep hurts,
Yeah. Then.
we call it cathartic.
Yeah.
And sometimes a person could be in the family for 6 months, but when it breaks in and they're releasing the shame and the pain, sometimes it blows out. And sometimes they go into a catatonic trance, and I have to know how to just bring them around. And you see some of the things in churches, certain churches, they have a catatonic thing.
Yeah.
So what you saw was the pain of abuse came center with these two people, 44 years old. Abuse, father killed in front of her. I mean, that's heavy.
Yeah.
But the good news is what? We're dealing with it.
Yeah.
See, I can tell you problems in our country. That's a waste of time for me. I'm saying let's deal with it. They're there, right?
Yeah.
Room was virtually filled. Saturday was filled. I go to Camp Road tonight. So people want help.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted you guys to see, that in spite of the problems, Alexis and Deja, people are saying, yeah, help me. Yeah. No fun living the way they live, It's hard. It's hard. I mean, you saw last week the young man whose father left him. He had been to prison and everything, but he was talking so beautifully. And then you saw the lady who lost her son. She came along and role played the father.
Yeah.
Is that touching to see her?
Yes, it was very moving to just know that he was speaking to his father in a way, just getting to release that emotion that he felt, even though he was saying that him and his father do talk now, that this was just a different type of conversation, at least.
And her son died in 222, one of our first fentanyl deaths. And you've seen her there. I mean, she was broken. But to the family now, she's not taking one medication, but she comes about 2 or 3 families a week.
Yeah.
And now you saw her going out to help this guy who'd been to prison and everything, but a brilliant guy, and his other partner who was, abused in 4 years. And there she was conducting the session.
Yeah.
Yet she's been hurt tremendously. The loss of a mother losing a child. And that's how the family started in the drug era.
Yeah.
Because I met mothers who lost children to drugs. And I started with 7 mothers who had lost their child to murder and drugs. And I grew within 3 months to 60.
Yeah.
Just kept growing. And then before COVID, I had 25 family groups.
Yeah.
And it was really impacting, I feel, the nation. But COVID knocked us out.
Oh, yeah.
What was it like? What's it like for you to see the family groups in action?
The same word I used before, it's real. It really puts you in perspectives that you can't experience it anywhere else. You can't, you watch things on TV and you see a powerful scene and you're like, wow, that hit hard. But being there in that moment, being next to a person, when you hear them, especially when they have those moments of passion and when you see them start to cry and then they start to get angry and those emotions start to move in them physically, that is a feeling that you cannot get anywhere else. And you take it on for them and you feel for them and you understand with them, and parts of their situation resonate with you and you want to help them. But you understand that everybody is grieving, and it's just this open grief in the room where everyone can kind of feel something even though it didn't happen to us. So it's a really powerful experience.
Did it discourage you, seeing all that pain in your country?
No. Like I said, I think people do want to get help for the situations and the pain that they're feeling. And having the group at least is a step for them to learn that this is okay to feel, and that I can feel this emotion.
Wow.
And then I could talk about it and don't move on from it, but carry it with me in a better way. And I think if we had more resources for something like that, I feel like there'd be a lot more just open conversation about hurt and grief. Yeah.
And how did you feel about the Asian lady who visited from China and Washington? How did she strike you?
I think that I wish she had a more public platform to Bahamians, because so many Bahamians could more than likely resonate with her story, where you grow up in the shame household and then you
said in China there's a lot of shaming.
Yeah.
And in certain places, if you fail, you kill yourself.
But I guess the difference.
So you saw a comparison between how she was brought up in China and how kids are brought up here? Really? Wow. So we're shame-based as well.
Very much.
Shut up. Shh. Don't say anything about the family. Don't talk. Don't talk your business outside this house. You don't want people to know what's going on in here. Shh. Shh. Sad. Does it make you want to cry? You see the pain coming out.
Well, yes, but just at least last week, when that man was crying about his father, it just like it made me happy that he was getting that emotion out and just trying to at least get in touch with his like little self, so that he could feel that emotion he felt when he was younger, and then just like with his experiences now, like in his adult mind, that he could process that emotion that he felt when he was younger, that he maybe couldn't understand at the time, but he can understand it now.
Very important, because in the family you'll see that in the deepest part of people's pain, we have them to go back to their child. The child in you, even now for you too, is always there. And that's why Jesus said, except you become what? Like a little child, you cannot see the kingdom of God. So the child in us is someone who thought that when you got big and powerful like you guys, you'll go back and say hello. We do everything but go back to our child.
Mm-hmm.
And what the lady who lost her son to fentanyl has learned, that when she was in deep pain, I took her back to the child in her. And she started to comfort the child. But in comforting the child, she was comforting who? Herself. And I watched the grief start to go from her. So she was telling this gentleman who went through a very painful life, that go back to the little child. Say hello to your dad.
Mm-hmm.
So the child is always you. The child is a prototype of the adult. They need safety. They need love. They need empowerment. Their instinctual needs, no matter what age you are, you still need what? Safety. You still need what? Love. So you need empowerment. So guess what? You're once an adult and twice a child. I'm getting ready to go back to childhood now. Be nice to me. God bless you guys. It's been a joy being with you, and you've taught me so much, but I feel so hopeful. You know why? I hope you come back to the Bahamas and continue the work that the Lord has allowed me to do. We're going to take a break and be